What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, A-Division Filipino iconic superstar boxer, future Hall of Famer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. He held his kickoff press conference today as he's going to take on undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Errol Spence Jr., that's scheduled to take place August 21st, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. With that said, they held a press conference, and a few interesting points obviously stood out. But one in particular is this one.
I think for me, sorry to interrupt.
Nope. This is your press conference, Manny.
Sorry to interrupt that. Actually, heroes don't need to have a advice from Mayweather, because I believe that heroes is better than Mayweather, and he's a fighter than Mayweather. So I think he will teach Mayweather and how to fight toe to toe.
Wow. So Manny Pacquiao, he took the opportunity, obviously, to poke at his rival, which was the biggest fight in the history of the sport of boxing. That was between legendary retired Hall of Famer, former 5-division world champion, former pound-for-pound king, former pay-per-view king, the man known as Money, Floyd "Money" Mayweather. He and Manny Pacquiao, they fought in what turned out to be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing's history, okay? Not just in the sport of boxing, but in the history of the sport of boxing between the two. And Floyd Mayweather, he won via unanimous decision. This was May of 2015. With that said, it was a 5-year wait, okay? 5-year anxious wait for this fight to take place. Some people say it was 5 years too late. But it took place in 2015, May of 2015, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Floyd Mayweather won a unanimous decision. Essentially, he won 10 rounds to 2. That could be being generous. Floyd Mayweather completely went in there and outclassed Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao, he's been vying to get an opportunity to face off against Floyd Mayweather for quite some time, okay? So obviously, he's going to take the opportunity to poke at Floyd Mayweather. This coming from Floyd Mayweather, he did an interview in which Floyd Mayweather, he stated that he was rooting for Errol Spence against Manny Pacquiao, and that he was going to make sure and assure Errol Spence is victorious by going to help Errol Spence, giving him some pointers, giving him some advice, and helping him to assure the victory against Manny Pacquiao. So Manny Pacquiao, he responded by saying that Errol Spence is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather, and he could actually teach Floyd Mayweather. So obviously, this date back to their own particular rivalry, okay? So Floyd Mayweather, he says that he's going to make sure Errol Spence, is victorious. Errol Spence stated that Floyd Mayweather hasn't yet reached out, but this is not uncommon for Errol Spence in his fights, that Floyd Mayweather reaches out to give him advice. He stated that Floyd Mayweather does reach out and give him advice. So if Floyd Mayweather said that he was going to reach out and give him some advice and give him some tips on how to be victorious against Manny Pacquiao, he says he expects him to, because that's just who he is. If he says he's going to do that, then that's exactly what he's going to do. So Manny Pacquiao, obviously, he took the opportunity to poke at Floyd Mayweather because he's confident that he's going to win the fight against Errol Spence, and he wants a rematch with Floyd Mayweather. Now, we know what took place. Manny Pacquiao, he stated that he had a shoulder injury, which saw him not be able to perform. He hurt his right shoulder in the fight. That hindered his performance. He couldn't perform up to his normal standards. So that saw Floyd Mayweather be the victor. So he wants an opportunity to rectify that. He wants to get a rematch, and he's been campaigning to get a rematch for quite some time. It was abundantly clear that Manny Pacquiao, he said he hurt his right shoulder, and he couldn't use his right hand in the fight. He hurt his right rotator cuff. They wasn't able to attend to it prior to the fight. Manny Pacquiao got outclassed in the fight. Manny Pacquiao was throwing both left and rights pretty heavy, and pretty often. Didn't seem to bother him much in the fights. This didn't come out to after the fight. Floyd Mayweather, obviously, he didn't take too kind to that. He feels Manny Pacquiao is being a sore loser. Floyd Mayweather he stated if Manny Pacquiao didn't make up such excuses, he may have given Manny Pacquiao a rematch. Instead, Floyd Mayweather, he pushed forward with his career. He ended up fighting Andre Berto, former multi-division world champion, superstar boxer. Then he fought Conor McGregor in a crossover mega sport super fight that was very successful. Manny Pacquiao, he had some interesting words about Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor. And then most recently, Floyd Mayweather, he knocked out Conor McGregor. He became 50-0. And most recently, Manny Pacquiao, he was campaigning to fight Conor McGregor in after his layoff, okay? Instead of his Errol Spence fight, he was looking to face Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor at that time lost his highly anticipated rematch with Dustin Poirier. Then Conor McGregor, he just had the trilogy last night, and he broke his ankle in that fight, and he lost the trilogy with Dustin Poirier. But Manny Pacquiao, he said he wanted to understand and feel, experience what it's like to be in there with a UFC fighter. But when Floyd Mayweather announced that he was going to fight Conor McGregor, at the time Manny Pacquiao was, heavy campaigning for a rematch. Manny Pacquiao, he stated that Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor is making a mockery of the sport of boxing, and he needs to fight real boxers. And then he looks to follow in Floyd Mayweather's footsteps some years later. So we understand that this is all coming from a place of Manny Pacquiao simply wanting to get a rematch with Floyd Mayweather. He wants to try to right the wrong. But stylistically, Manny Pacquiao could never compare to Floyd Mayweather. Now there's people that say the fight was just 5 years too late, okay? I don't believe that to be true. I believe that Floyd Mayweather, who's 2 years older than Manny Pacquiao, and the fight took place 5 years later because Floyd Mayweather wanted Manny Pacquiao to take Olympic-style testing, and Manny Pacquiao was unwilling to do so. That would delay the fight. But just stylistically, Floyd Mayweather at 5'8", Floyd Mayweather with a 72-inch arm reach, and he being a pure boxer with great defense, is a stylistic matchup issue for Manny Pacquiao and his style. He's always struggled with that. At 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach, Floyd Mayweather has a 5-inch arm reach advantage, and he has a 3-inch height advantage over Manny Pacquiao. And he's the better pure boxer. He has, he's more disciplined on defense. Manny Pacquiao's offense is his defense. Floyd Mayweather's straight right hand, counter punchability. Those things always gave Manny Pacquiao problems. All you have to do is look at the 4 fights that Manny Pacquiao had with 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who was a Hall of Famer, and Juan Manuel Marquez. The first fight, Manny Pacquiao, he dropped Marquez 3 times in the first round. The 3 knockdown rule wasn't in effect, but he dropped Marquez 3 times in the first round. Marquez got up off the canvas and fought that fight to a draw. Okay? That speaks volumes. To hit the deck 3 times and then to get up and fight to a draw, that speaks volumes. And then on top of that, the 2 middle fights were very, very close. Manny Pacquiao got the nod in those 2 middle fights, but they were very, very close. In the 4th fight, Juan Marquez brutally knocked out Manny Pacquiao as he dropped him in one of the rounds, and then he countered him before the fight ended and knocked him out, okay, with a right hand. But Marquez's style always gave Manny Pacquiao problems. Then you look at Manny Pacquiao when he fought Eric Morales. The first time, Eric Morales outclassed Manny Pacquiao, better pure boxer, and just beat Manny Pacquiao. He was left-hand dominant, okay? Slick boxers that are counter punchers and have somewhat respectable defense, they give Manny Pacquiao trouble. Floyd Mayweather, he has the greatest defense, probably arguably in the history of sport of boxing. So that is always going to give Manny Pacquiao tons and tons of trouble. And that's the reason why he struggled with Floyd Mayweather. It had nothing to do with his shoulder. It had everything to do with the style matchup, okay? His style matchup. Now fast forward into Manny Pacquiao's fight with Errol Spence Jr. I believe Errol Spence Jr.'s style is all wrong for Manny Pacquiao, okay? Errol Spence Jr. counter punchability, Errol Spence length, he's similar to Floyd Mayweather. He's slightly taller at 5'9.5". Floyd Mayweather is 5'8", but they both have a 72-inch arm reach. So Errol Spence is going to have a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao, and he's going to have a 4.5-inch height advantage over Manny Pacquiao, and he nullifies Manny Pacquiao's southpaw advantage because he himself is a southpaw. But Errol Spence is a technically sound, skilled boxer that has a great jab that's big and strong. So Errol Spence, in his press conference, he said whether it be a stoppage or just a plain old decision victory, he believes he's going to be the victor. And I do as well. I believe in the beginning of the fight, in the first half of the fight, Errol Spence struggled with the timing of Manny Pacquiao, okay? Once he gets the timing and he gets the distance and he gets to being able to counter Manny Pacquiao, and controlling the pace of the fight with his jab, I believe he's going to dominate this fight with Manny Pacquiao. We saw Manny Pacquiao's last fight, which was 2 years ago. Now the 2-year layoff, is going to be 2 years and a month since Manny Pacquiao fought by the time this fight takes place. But Manny Pacquiao is saying that that is going to help him because he got some rest. So we can't use that as an excuse as to why he lost. But 2 years ago, excuse me, July of 2019, he fought against former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. Now, he dropped Keith Thurman in the fight in the first round, and then in the 10th round, he badly hurt Keith Thurman to the body. But in between that, Keith Thurman started to gauge the timing. He started to gauge the distance. He started to understand what Manny Pacquiao does. And he started to counter Manny Pacquiao and hit Manny Pacquiao with big, clean punches. Keith Thurman is not as big and strong as Errol Spence, and he's not a southpaw. And Keith Thurman, if he started a little bit early, Keith Thurman may have won this fight. It's still, even though Manny Pacquiao badly hurt Keith Thurman in the 10th round, although he dropped Keith Thurman in the first round, it still was a split decision victory for Manny Pacquiao. So he wasn't able to just walk right through or blow through Keith Thurman and walk away with a victory. It was a very hard-fought, tough fight and decision for Manny Pacquiao. And I believe Errol Spence is a better fight than Keith Thurman. So I believe in the later rounds, he'll be able to close the show, may get a 10th round stoppage, or I just expect Errol Spence to get a decision victory. Either which way, I'm picking Errol Spence to win the fight. Manny Pacquiao, 42 years of age. Errol Spence, 31. Errol Spence is younger. He's bigger. He's stronger. And he has a point to prove. Okay, this is an opportunity. He understands what's at stake. As Manny Pacquiao stated in the press conference, this is the norm for him. Okay, it became the norm for him after a while to be on this big stage. So this is another day in the office. This is a huge opportunity for Errol Spence. So let's see how this unfolds. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.